Peace to the family. There we go. Peace to the family, man. How y'all feeling? Oh, we having some beautiful days out there. Yes, Ethereum, XR. When I say Bitcoin, I really just mean cryptocurrencies. I really just mean cryptocurrencies. That's what I be meaning. So when y'all say Solano and, you know what I mean, XRP and Ethereum and, you know, whatever other ones you want to name, that's what I be talking about. You know what I mean? But first of all, I want to say peace and blessing to you all. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Today is 11/11. 11/11 is what we call a portal day, right? Metaphysically, it's a day of observation. So, yes, Dogecoin, everything is looking good right now. That don't even matter. We can't control the market. All you can do is get in and out of it. And you can either buy, you can hold, you can sell, right? You can stake, the market can only do two things. It can go up, it can go down, right? I want y'all to listen to something very important, right? I've been doing this for a very long time now. In fact, you know, I will go on record and say I have been the most impactful and influential Black thought leader, specifically globally, on the subject, right? When it comes to technological and paradigm shifts globally, right? That's in history ever when it comes to this, you know. And it started off with a thesis about the new way. It can go sideways. It don't matter if it goes sideways. It's too late. It already done went there. And it's what I've been telling people for years, because I'm what you call a bridge, right? Spiritually, and you look up my Mayan connection, right? There's a way where each person has a Mayan connection based on their birthday, right? And it speaks towards your personality type and your character type. And for me, I'm a bridge. I'm a bridge between cycles, between life and death, between old things and new things. And so my thought leadership has been about the fruition of trying to bring our people into a new cycle. And more specifically, how do we pay attention to things, right, outside of the survival matrix? So when I used to sit down with other leaders and activists and things of that nature, and they're so used to operating off these old models, right? And these old models tell you to do things in outdated ways. But you get the reason a lot of people do it that way is because they get credit for doing it that way, right? So you're in the streets, you're marching, right? And you have this activist blueprint to doing things, which is not often actually effective, because when you measure the aggregate efficiency, right, of our activists, specifically in our revolutionaries, it has not, the amount of energy that we put into does not match the outcome and the effectiveness of the results that we get out of it. So our aggregate efficiency has been very low and stagnant for years. And the saddest thing to see recently was this election. This was sad because I seen us put so much energy into something that was never going to work and is not supposed to work. I seen George Floyd feed so many Black boule organizations and entities of Black death. while ignoring black men while they living. You know, I have a note from 2018. I'll show you my computer, right? This is a note from 2018. So you can see, is this my actual computer, the actual note, not altered, any of that, right? I have thousands of notes that I keep. And a lot of times I try not to alter the date at all. And here's a simple fact that it states. It says that we are already a people who spend 1.3 trillion every year on our failures. The proof is that they are failures is the fact that we have no assets, which means we must be spending money on liabilities. Right? I further on to go and say that I have done some research and understanding cryptocurrencies and taking that research, giving it to the people so they can interact with the opportunities of the present instead of react to the opportunities not taken, or react to the success of the opportunities not taken. It says, imagine 9 years ago, if black people found out about Bitcoin and we were at the level of awareness to understand that if we interact with this Bitcoin the right way, then we can get our own reparations that we've been waiting for so long. Right? And at the time I'm saying this, I think it was at around like 4,000 or something, right? And I also go on to talk about understanding decentralization, artificial intelligence, right? Blockchain, the new Internet of Things, and the new economy to come. And I've actually been really disappointed with our community. Not as a whole, there's a lot of us that's really been taking advantage of this. But a lot of these organizations, the reason that I'm frustrated with them is because we've literally been given the blueprint and the guide and the way. Literally. And instead of being received and thanked for presenting the solutions to the future, it was the exact opposite. The OGs that were the financial literacy guys, I guess that did it years ago that we never had heard of. These were the ones that were talking the most shit. People that was historically into the markets that we never heard about them until we made financial literacy popular in our own community. Like, I've never had a problem, teaching us something, because it didn't matter if I'm not a financial advisor. It didn't matter if I was the most successful in the category, but I realized, man, the biggest risk is not knowing about it at all. The biggest risk is not taking no risk. I'm like, I come from an environment of St. Louis or Oakland to where nobody taught us none of these things. The OGs in the 90s ain't give us no game. Not in this particular sector. So I'm like, when I first heard about stock options, my mind was blown. I said, you can make money when the market goes down. Man, I started talking about that, man. I was ridiculed by people who were teaching stocks and was like, man, this nigga teaching options. Don't get into that. That's gambling. I'm like, damn, I'm just trying to make us aware about something. I thought I would be received with praise and appreciation, but trying to put us up on game. Cryptocurrency. Let me get this person on up out of here. Cryptocurrency, same thing. When I started teaching crypto, oh my God. I had channels making videos about me. I had people hating, throwing subs. So much hate. Because they felt like I was taking away attention from their traditional ways of teaching. And now, of course, everybody is on the bandwagon. But I've always done it when it wasn't popular. Everything that I teach, I do it when it's not popular. Right? Hold on. So the hate that has always been received from young black men and young black women and brown people that's been teaching, as really, you're right, it has definitely been demonic in a way to where it has been our greatest downfall. And I know a lot of people, and I'm going to do a history on this on YouTube. This is just where I get my thoughts off. But on YouTube is where I give my teaching, is where I really break things down. And then High Level Club is where you get your guidance, right? The knowledge out there is for free. But if you want somebody to actually take you through the process, right? You want to actually be a part of communities, that's different. But I'm disappointed because, man, it's impossible to say you don't know. I don't get invited to the Afro Techs. And it's only because I'm a masculine black man that speak truth. So people be telling me, no, Keys, unity is the way. Don't be divisive. I say, you don't tell them niggas that, though. I've been doing my job. And I really ain't been going at their throats like I could. The problem has been that I've been discriminated so much from my own people for just being who I am. Because they believe that we too radical to stand next to. But they deemed us radical. And so now I'm looking at it like, man, we got to really drain the swamp and defund a lot of these organizations. And get them on out the way, because we could have literally, I don't know why I don't get invited to Afro Tech, but a lot of times when these organizations are ran by certain type of boule black people, man, and they believe that my type of black man shouldn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless I'm bowing down and I'm safe, whatever they want to call safe, right? But I exist as a one-on-one. I get it. You ain't gonna find, it ain't, listen, there's a lot of people in this world, but it ain't none like me. Statistically, it ain't another person that is the same as me on this planet Earth. You can go check. But what it really is there's a hate of heterosexual black strong men, and they categorize us into this area of the patriarch and say we too masculine and we exist in these things. They start labeling us. And so now, we can't bring 19 Keys. He's not a safe Christian, bow down, token Democrat. That's what it is. They've been hating on this for a very long time. We all know it's true. And this is why some of you all be hating on EYL, and I can't hate on them ever, because they didn't mind standing next to me while I'm speaking truth, while I'm wearing my sun, moon, and stars on my head, representing who I am, knowledge of self, God body presence, not bowing down to an establishment or an institution, and just freely teaching our people from the passion of my heart. So when I see other black men like that and other black women, man, and other people of any color, I respect and support them, because I know how hard it is. Because the far left has hated on black America, black men specifically, masculine black men that stand up, man, harder than anybody. So y'all want to know why it's been such a egregious fight against that, and why we have such a negative, ill feeling towards them? Because we've seen every strong leader that was a black man not just fall because they failed. They failed because the system was against them. Now, today is 11/11, right? Beautiful day, powerful day. I'm not even going to say everything I want to say. I got to save some stuff because I'm going to do a whole YouTube on this. But it's funny how, a day like this is a powerful day. Why do numbers matter? Numbers are the language of the universe, right? They give us sequences and patterns, and numbers are frequencies. And it's literally a language. Before we had alphabets, we had numbers, right? And when one can observe the patterns of the numbers that we see frequently, it forces us to stop and it forces us to ask a question. So we see 444s, we see 111s, and we be like, yo, what does that mean? And I don't think a lot of people realize that they don't do that a lot. Right? So the beauty of it is that a high-level observer controls what they see. A low-level observer is controlled by what they see. So frequency days, right? Portal days, what I call them. It's a day of observation. Not only is this 11:11, we seeing Bitcoin going to all-time highs, 85, might hit 90, 100, or it may sway whoever. But these are the days to where you want to reevaluate at all time, right? It's mass days of consciousness, and it creates shifts. And those shifts happen because collective consciousness is paying attention. And when there's a lot of energy that flows in any direction, right, it charges up. And in that charging up, it materializes, right? So this is why days like this are very important. And I was talking with the team, man, and I was just going over so much. And I took one of my oldest videos I had about paradigm shifts, and I asked AI, I said, AI, can you tell me the level of accuracy? Hey, blockchain, my brother, I need to talk to you, man. I ain't talked to you. I got your old number, so please send me your new one. Chicago, crypto, blockchain, but that's my brother, man, because every time I've got an opportunity, you know, I'll be bringing my brother name up on the biggest platforms in the world, and I do that with people that I respect that are consistent. You know what I'm saying? But let's get on the phone. Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot that we can do right now. But my brother's one of them people that is super consistent, right? There's a few people that I just respect their consistency throughout time. It's been tough to do this work because it requires so much, right? First of all, to build a platform is very costly. I don't think people think about the cost of building a platform, having a team, flying around, doing all these things. It's very costly and very expensive. So I've been spending so much money and reinvesting. I ain't gonna say spending. I've been reinvesting so much money on building the platform to produce the awareness, right? To get people to understand the time and the age that we're living in, right? And shoot, all that money I've been spending bringing the awareness, I really could have just been spending all that, investing that money, utilizing the knowledge that I have, and no, to just put it in the market. Let it buy, hold, stake, loan against it, whatever. And I'll be happy with just me and my bag to myself. You know what I'm saying? Money bag keys, somewhere in Africa chilling. You know what I'm saying? Or somewhere in America with this. But I decided to reinvest it all so that we can have consistent awareness on these shifts and we can have a voice in the world. You know what I'm saying? So that we could have a platform, because I've been able to put so many voices on that normally wouldn't have had no platform. So instead of complaining about things, I just did something about it. And I believe that the 19 keys, a blueprint of thought leadership, is the new way for activism and how to be revolutionary with your people. And I'll be honest, it has not always been profitable, but it has always been impactful, right? So that's what allowed me to continue to do it. The profits definitely ain't always been there. We did episodes with people and they went and said something too far and we didn't get to monetize at all. But I still got to pay editors. I still got to pay for the travel. I got to pay for the studio space, everything, right? And, you know, that is what it is. But when you really focus on that impact, it hit different. But now I'm at this point where it's like, all right, I built the thing. I put the money into it. I put the time, the sweat equity, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggle, the hard work, the up night, late night studying, all of that, man. I done took this message literally across the planet into some of the biggest venues on this planet and reached billions of people, you know what I'm saying, and changed millions of lives. So, you know, I would reinvest that anytime, any day. So this next phase, no, we want that bag though. We want we want the biggest bag that you can possibly get. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever the biggest bag that has ever been made, we want that bag because I want to have not just the influence. Now we're going for the force. Influence is soft power, right? Force is hard power. It's where you can utilize your assets to produce direct impact and change, put people in positions, create the platform, produce the institutions, hire the people that you need, right? A lot of these things people ask me to do, and it's like, okay, you want me to do more things, but those things require more money. It's not just people simplify things to think that you just hop on your phone and social media and just talk. Like, no. we the production on our show alone costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to do. That's why nobody has ever done it that way before, because it's just completely expensive. I see why we ain't been able to do it, but now we're at that point where we should be able to invest in those things, right? So like, we're such a capitalist people that the bourgeoisie class are superior capitalists. So they don't care if they see you doing something good, unless you can make them money. There ain't nothing being poured into what you do to continue it. So I look at our generation as the most radical in a way, not to say that, previous generations weren't radical, because they definitely weren't, but we're the most radical in trying to dismantle the system from utilizing technology in our creative mind, right? There's never been a generation more creative, right, and effective in our radicalism of the way we try to dismantle the system in a very creative and different way, right? Operating and utilizing new technologies and decentralization and blockchain and decentralized finance and smart contracts and, being able to develop our own media, right? And create our own type of events and politics and ideas. Like, this has been a true renaissance, and it's actually been a great honor to watch it unfold all of these times. And it's been my honor to know, all the major players, if you will, that have been involved in this in their own right. That has been amazing, right? Every year since 2017, I have all the receipts, right, of keeping us up to date, right, and aware of blockchain, AI, cryptocurrency, technological shifts that happen, the new blueprints of, financial literacy, right? Like I was telling my team earlier, I'm like, organize all of that. Let's drop that. Because I don't think people really understand the amount of work that has been and how much it takes. And unless you appreciate something, you don't understand the value of it, right? Once you understand something and you understand how hard it is, why I'm now talking about that, then you know the value of it, right? So, anyway, a lot of things are going to shift in 2025, right? I don't get excited when the market moves, right? Because that's emotions. Excitement leads away the mind. It's just cycles. That's all you're looking at anytime. It can go up to 100. It can come back down to 75. It doesn't matter. These are just cycles. And in order to not get caught up in the emotions, and this goes into life, and this goes into finance, whether it's cryptocurrency or not, is to zoom out, right? Most people get caught up in the journey of crypto, right, versus the long-term vision of it. The long-term vision, it was always going to get to this point. It may get to 1 million one day, 300,000 one day. Who knows? But if you're caught in the daily peaks and valleys of it, then you're not making the right decisions. Traders operate off different time frames. Some people have 1 minute time frames. Some people have 15 seconds. They get in and out of a trade, right? Some people have 1 day time frames. And each time frame, you're zooming out, right? And the cycle that you're zooming out from changes. Some people look at it from 6 months. Some people look at it from a year. Some people look at it from 5 years. So if you are a person like myself that studies from a long-term time frame, I look at 5 to 10 to 20-year shifts. So a lot of times when I'm talking about things, I'm speaking in 5 to 10-year cycles. So if you're looking at what's happening on the daily, you're going to miss it. Like, wait a minute. What is Key talking about? I don't see that happening. Then you see some other news. No, Key's not right. But if you was to zoom out 5 years, oh, I get what he's saying. It's not when he said this in 2015. He was talking about what's going to happen in 2020. Then when he's talking about in 2020, he's telling you everything that's going to happen in 2025 and how you can take advantage and invest now and prepare yourself now so when that time comes around. So this is something that I want you all to understand. You have to think about when you listen to people, what time frame are they teaching from and viewing from? Everybody speaks and thinks from a different time frame, right? When a person is in survival, they most likely are speaking from either a day-to-day or week-to-week time frame, which is also the level of vision and level of understanding and perception that they have. So if you go to the hood, people are talking about, and it's the same thing with looking forward and looking backwards, right? So they talk about things that have happened in the past, right? And then they're only making decisions a week or 2 weeks out. And then for some people who are in extreme dire situations, they're literally just on a day-to-day time frame, right? Survival mentality. But when you are operating with individuals of a higher caliber, and oftentimes the more money a person makes, the larger their view and their time frame zooms out. So now there are people who, go be talking to you from a 10-year. You're speaking to people of wealth, they may be talking in 10 years. So now when you listen to them, you're listening to a person speaking literally in and or towards the future. So you have to learn how to adjust your settings. You know what I'm saying? Adjust your settings. To understand that everybody speaks differently, now you have to ask yourself, what is the way you think when you judge things? When you measure things? Do you measure them from a month-to-month basis, a 2-year basis, 10-year basis? Now, a lot of you all may want to think you're thinking future forward, but most people are thinking month-to-month, right? I look at wealth. And wealth to me, and this is how you can tell how wealthy you are. Now, in 2 ways, right? On a metaphysical level, wealth is confidence and your level of value that you have subconsciously of yourself. So somebody a billionaire right now, can lose every single asset that they have, every single dollar they have, right? They can go look at it and they were just cleaned and wiped out. How much wealth do they have? Right? Now, of course, the average person they ain't got nothing. It's not true. Right? Because their wealth is going to be directly correlated with how they feel about themselves and what they know. Right? Then, of course, who they know. So they're not going to be able to directly leverage the assets under their management because they won't have that. But if they feel like a billionaire still, they would only think like a billionaire. They only do things like a billionaire. They only get results of a billionaire. Right? So they're never going to be as broke or as poor as someone who actually doesn't, even if their balance sheet of 0 assets and no money in the bank looks the same as somebody else, they're much wealthier than them because of their emotional frequency towards themselves and how they view themselves. So they're going to get at least to the millions very fast, very quick, right? Because that's where their reality is subconsciously. And then they're going to shift their reality to meet that frequency. Now, if they go into depression, it can sink their image of themselves, right? Decreasing their ability to remanifest that reality based on how they perceive themselves. So my question to you all is, right, thinking about it from how wealthy do you feel, right? That's one level of it, right? What is the wealth that you know? Meaning that think about all the wealthiest people you know, and you can average your wealth out, right, by how much their net income is. I mean, not net income, but what their net worth is. Because your net worth is not just the assets you own, plus your income minus your debt. It's about who you know, of course, but on a real level, right? If you got know 10 millionaires and you might only have 50,000 in the bank, but your actual value and net worth is much higher because you can leverage the resources within your network, right? And that should just accumulate depending on what you know and your ability to take advantage of that. And then, of course, it's going to go to your self-esteem and your confidence and your self-belief. Do you see yourself as one of them as well? So our biggest issue has been the attitude that we have of ourselves, right? The lack of self-love, the lack of self-confidence that destroys our ability to build true wealth. And our inability to think past our short-term mental myopia, meaning that we can't think that far. Right? When you have a stigma of the eyes, it's called a myopia, and you can't see that far. Right? So imagine like you trying to look at something and it goes blurry. It's the same thing that happens to the mind when you're trying to think that far and it fuzzes out. So this is why from the beginning, my blueprint is getting us, of course, we always talk about the mindset because it's 81% mindset, 19% skill set. You know what I'm talking about? 81% mindset, 19% skill set. You know, it's all about the way that you feel and the way that you think. So in days like this, you need to readjust your settings. Right? It's 11:11. Readjust your settings on how you feel. Right? How you see, how you perceive yourself, and how that affects the world around you. That's one of the biggest keys on these days. We have entered a new shift into the age of Aquarius. New systems are supposed to die and fade out. I spoke about it in my video, and I posted it on my stories on how when Obama came in, when Donald Trump came in 95, when the internet came in, these were moments of paradigm shifts that most people did not pay attention to. Anytime something happens on a global scale, we enter a new timeline. Anytime that happens, because global consciousness shifts reality, and then it changes the cycles and patterns of behavior, right? Which changes our patterns of what we produce. And there's so much that just changed with this new Donald Trump presidency that I have to break down, right, in the coming weeks. Because, I mean, it's a lot that has happened. And I mean on deep layered levels, not just surface levels. Tupac once said, the world ain't, although it'd be heaven sent, the world ain't ready for a black president. And although people would love to see a woman president, the world just not ready. Nothing happens unless God wills it. Right? So you have to think about the lesson of why things don't happen. Not cry about them not happening. What is the why? Where are we at in time that this is not what's allowed yet? Which also means that if you believe in God, then you can't cry off the things that happen, because you then have to have trust in God and his way and his will. He obviously said it ain't time yet. Jesse Jackson tried to run for president, wasn't his time, but then Obama won. But why Obama? It's not Jesse at the time. We go into the why, then you start to understand more of God's blueprint and why reality is the way it is. Why was it Donald Trump's time? See, as human beings, we so emotional because we don't know how to accept God's will, because we want man's will to be done. And we get disappointed because our will will never be greater than God's will. And so we become unaligned with reality, and that our emotions are not aligned with our emotion. You know what I'm talking about? So here you are in 2024 wishing you were existing on another timeline. So now you're in your emotions, and now you can't think properly to synchronize with your environment. So your emotions is on this timeline. I wish. But here's reality. And until you accept reality, you can't synchronize to vibrate on this reality to take advantage of everything that's happening in the time that you live in. So you have to become more mature in your understanding of the time that we are living in. If you ever want to be able to take advantage of the reality that is today. So this is why we as a people have not been able to take advantage of the shifts and cycles that have happened because we have emotionally been disconnected to the will of God and the reality of the time that we're living in. From the technological shifts, from the crypto shifts, from the blockchain shifts, right to the internet shifts, we have not boomed and taken advantage of to see billionaires sprout out of it because we have been emotionally disconnected on a metaphysical plane. And so until our people have an emotional shift of accepting reality, we cannot move forward. It is a mental reprogramming that must take place. I'm proud to announce it's not too late. Join High Level Club if you want the one-on-one access. DM me the word mentor. If you don't process it in the next 24 hours, we're not going to allow you in. Because tomorrow lesson going to be heavy. It's going to be heavy. And for the High Level Club is where we're going to be teaching. And people, it's not too late to get into crypto. It's not too late to learn AI. It's not too late to learn blockchain, AR, VR, spatial reality. Not too late to know of course, we just started, we're going to roll out the 2025 content blueprint, for creators. So you definitely want to get in on that. How to build your personal brand, communication mastery. And of course, the metaphysical laws of the universe. So you can have that shift in that life that you've been waiting for and or looking for. You got to DM me the word mentor directly. We either accept or deny. But everybody should join the High Level Club. We have a lot coming. Bitcoin just hit 87,000. It's going to keep rising. It's going to have fluctuations. That don't matter. You need to be able to understand what these things are. You need to know what a DAO is, a decentralized autonomous organization, right? You need to understand the game. You need to know, like gold is another thing that I've been pushing for a long time, right? Which is why I was wearing big gold chains and things of that nature, telling people buy gold, buy gold, buy gold. None of my predictions were off. Even when I taught NFTs, you go to my Breakfast Club interview and you think about the way, and listen to the way I taught NFTs when I got the largest platform to do it at that time, I was 100% right about everything. It is what it is. I've been the number one futurist and thought leader in the diaspora globally, right, for a very long time now. You know what I mean? And I can say that because it took a lot of time for these predictions to come true. But now we can look at the accuracy rate of those predictions, and I'm not perfect, of course. We get things off and we get new information, and those insights have us consistently adjusting. But we don't adjust the thesis until new information enters, right? And we change that thesis. But this is like the last year. 2025 is the last year in this cosmic cycle, right? And by cosmic cycle, I mean our solar cycles. So every 11 years, there are new solar cycles. The scientists judge those solar cycles by 11-year cycles of the sun having a maximum minimum peak of sending out solar flares to the earth. So we're now at the maximum peak going into 2025, right? And when solar flares hit earth, they have a disruption of technology, right? It has an effect on human beings and the earth, right? Based on our skin conductance, our melanin. So it affects black people and white people differently depending on differentiating melanin levels, right? That changes our patterns of breathing, right? What change our patterns of thinking, what changes reality. So you see shifts in movements, women's movements, technological movements, paradigm shifts, cycles that happen. Sometimes there's chaos and disorder, right? So this is the end, and we're going to go into a completely new cycle into 2026. So this is what I predict to be the last year for you to get your shit together. So it's not too late to learn because crypto adoption is still at 5%. But next year, I believe we're going to see maximum adoption levels. And then it may just be completely too late. So make sure you're getting your family prepared. Join High Level Club. DM me the High Level Club. We'll send you the link. It's right now we're having it available for everybody. It's typically $119. We have some available at $444, but it's going to be $44 to join. And you're going to get to be a part of, get all the behind the scenes, get access to everything. So it's not too late to learn, but it will be. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm glad I've been doing my part for the last, I say 7 years. Yeah, I've been doing my part. Now it's time for you to do yours for your family and yourself. And I believe that if there was any time that you realize that it's not the system, ladies, speaking to y'all, listen, you realize the system is working the way the system is designed to work. And yeah, you can research me. You can go check. I've been on that. Also, my crypto bros, y'all reach out to me. I want to do a crypto meetups in different cities across America, but specifically I want to start to do a crypto meetup in LA, and I might want to do one in Miami. And I definitely want to have one of the largest crypto communities, right, behind the scenes. I'm not that person that needs to, I don't have to force anything. I got all the receipts in the world at this point, you know, and, you know, my blueprint has been a blueprint that the financial literacy community and a lot of the creators, a lot of people have been operating and running off of, because I've been a futurist, meaning I've been giving them the information of the trends that are to come. And I'm so happy that people have taken advantage and listened to it, you know, because now part of the world that we live in, I help impact and produce that aspect by listening to that inner God and letting me know. Yeah, you know that tokenomics, man. When we talk tokenomics, man, people was making so much money, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, just learning the auditing strategies that I put together. So Infinite Wealth Strategies, for those that didn't know, which is what you're going to get access to in the High Level Club, is when I put together the auditing strategies to understanding cryptocurrency, right? How to buy it, where to buy it, why to buy it, who to buy it from, who to follow, what groups to be a part of, what to look for, right? How to know when it's going to be a rug pull, different strategies to buy, sell, hold, stake, right? Understanding smart contracts, history of it, papers. I mean, we put together all of it. Like when I taught tokenomics, I didn't just teach it. I taught the root of it. You know, tokenomics really comes from a philosophy from B.F. Skinner, right? And B.F. Skinner is essentially the reason why you got stickers when you was a kid for performance, because he mapped out a psychological study, you know, that showed that people are incentivized to do things through reward or punishment. So when we talk about FOMO and the fear of missing out, that comes from his psychology. He was very instrumental into the modern education system in a way that is operating, right? And so here we are, you know, in modern day, and most people are being moved by that psychology, but not understanding how. And a lot of the cryptocurrencies have been produced based on that blueprint. So not only that, we look at things like, you know, XRP is something that will be interesting if it have his day, I think maybe when they take Gensler out, XRP is still at like 60 cents. And everybody is looking at Bitcoin right now. So I'm going to give y'all some look at. So what typically happens, Bitcoin reaches super cycle. Let's say it goes up to 100,000, right? Typically there's a psychological level it doesn't go past, right? You got inflows and outflows. And when the outflows are higher than the inflows, it's not going to continue to go up. So what happens though when people are taking that money, they either put it in, the USDC coins, right? Stable coins are what they call them, or it goes into low cap coins, right? Because everybody can't afford a Bitcoin no matter what. So it's only the 1% only can afford the Bitcoin, buy a whole, but you can buy Satoshis. So what happens is that the low caps get the rest of that money flowed into them. So they start selling some of the Bitcoin. Then they start putting into the low caps. By low cap, we're talking about low capitalization, meaning that they have not reached billions of dollars of inflow, right? Some of them may be at 100,000, some might be at 10 million, but they could go up to 100 million, 200 million. So investing in the low caps is a greater opportunity. So you really want to learn how those cycles work. You know what I'm talking about? Now, of course, I look at it as having a portfolio. You adjust a portfolio looking at gold, crypto, stocks, bonds, whatever. Now, some people are more bullish to say, forget that. I'm just going to put mostly everything into Bitcoin, right? I would say there's no reason to not have some gold as well, because I can see gold going up still. Because as these new assets become utilized even more, I think that what's going to happen is we're going to see gold even being used more as a hedge, right? So we see numbers going up to 4,000, maybe 5,000 in the future. Who knows, right? But I remember when I first started talking about it, it was at like 2,000 something, right? That's when I started accumulating gold myself. And now it's up there, right? So, the price of a kilo, I think is like 85,000 right now? My God. But then when gold goes up, silver goes up. So you ain't even got to just buy gold. You can buy silver. So that's the thing, It's always preparing us for the future and understanding the cycles. A lot of you all understand the age of Aquarius, right? But how do you take that information, right, and the knowledge of the metaphysical shifts, and how do you turn that into investment, right? Because what you're essentially telling me is that you're thinking like an economist, essentially, to where you have a thesis about the future. But that thesis can actually make you money, and you don't even realize it. Because if you think things are going to shift, then all you have to do is put your money behind that theory, right? So if I see a lack of trust in the government, if I think that there's going to be a fall of America, right, then I have to understand what happens if this comes true. Well, if this comes true, then more people start putting their money into gold. That's a shift, right? That shifts happen. Or people, the next generation, I look at their patterns of money and we say, well, those patterns have shifted. Instead of putting it into bank, right, and traditional investments such as stocks, now people are looking at cryptocurrencies. Well, if I believe that that is going to be true in the age of Aquarius, when new systems and new things have changed, then why don't I put my money there, right, if I am actually invested to believe that that's real? And then, so therefore, when it actually happens and one system goes down, another one goes up. The game is definitely rigged. It's not rigged to fall completely, right? Those who are the wealthiest, they are always looking to be risk adverse. They have people that is always telling them, right, what to do based on the data. So why is it that Warren Buffett got so much money on the sidelines? Maybe he says, I don't want to ride the cryptocurrency up. Maybe he says, I'll wait till we have our cycle to where things break. And then once they go down, then that's when I'm going to put my money in the game. The thing is, the market can only do two things. It can go up, it can go down, right? If it goes all the way up and it has a moment where it goes up to 100,000, right? Maybe 120. But what if that breaks dramatically and it comes down to 60 again? Will people still believe when they lost money or will they sell out? Interesting. The market always corrects itself. But historically, it's going to go up more. It's going to have more days that goes up than it goes down, right? But I think that Warren Buffett gonna be out of here soon anyway, and that's really gonna spell the new age of the financial revolution. You know what I'm saying? Warren Buffett, he old. That boy old as hell. That boy old as the stock market. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna be around too much longer. So I think that especially his buddy died as well. So I think that that's going to mark a completely new age when some of these titans literally die off. You know what I'm saying? And the new money markets come in because the crypto bros spent a whole lot of money getting Donald Trump elected. You know, and Biden was hating on crypto, enacting his executive order, right? That's why Kamala had to try to tell black men that, look, I'm for crypto. But what she was saying essentially that we messed up, but she didn't distance herself from Biden enough because Biden was the one that was halting innovation in that particular space. And now they're talking about doing a crypto reserve, right? A Bitcoin reserve, which could definitely take it to a whole nother level if that came true. So we're going to see what happens in 2025, but I'd rather operate off my thesis, and as new information comes, then I just change my investment strategies from there. But if you all want to learn, you want to be a part of it, make sure you join High Level Club so you can get access to the infinite wealth strategies, right? It's not too late to invest in the future. You feel me? And invest in your future. Peace.